This podcast is part of the C-Suite Radio Network, turning the volume up on business.
Welcome to the Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer. Join us as Deb talks with her guests, experts in their fields, as they share real-life stories and techniques to power up your business.
Good morning, good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And today we are going to have so much fun because we're going to be talking about a subject that is fascinating. I mean, when I was reading my guest's information, I thought, holy cow, this is so cool. And I also thought, oh my heavens, I don't understand it. So it's going to be so much fun because we're going to get to learn so much about this topic. And it really does sound fascinating. So please join me in welcoming Deberah Bringelson to our program today. Welcome, Deberah.
Thank you so much, Deb. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really excited to talk to all of your viewers and listeners about quantum business and how they can make their business and lives better.
Great. Well, let me tell people a little bit about you before we get started. So Deberah Bringelson is a non-conformist empowerment expert and business growth authority. From her work in the California Senate to her work with people like Richard Branson, Larry Ellison, and other business luminaries, she has found that massive success lives on the edges in innovation and creativity. Best known for turning Richard Branson from a hard no way to closing the deal with him that never should have happened, and for telling clients to grow their revenue as much as 3,546% in under 12 months, Deberah believes that you can have an amazingly successful business and a great life. Her Quantum Business Beyond the Spreadsheet does just that. Deberah weaves manifestation and quantum teachings with highly innovative business strategies, creating her own success formula, the Power of Three. Using her proven formula, clients around the world are creating extraordinary results, including multiple companies achieving more than 3,000% growth. Deberah is an internationally recognized speaker and author, co-authoring Practical Business Wisdom and Magic with Joe Vitale from The Secret. So again, Deberah, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's kind of start at the beginning because what you do is, as I said, very, very fascinating. How did you decide this was something that was your passion and that you were able to bring this to so many people?
So I started learning about metaphysics and quantum physics about 30 years ago.
Okay.
And I was really fascinated by it. It was really interesting. It resonated with me. It made it, even though it didn't make sense intellectually, it made sense.
Right.
So I started learning about it and I started using it in my own life. And I could actually see how I would do some work at the quantum level and it would show up in my life. And so I was using it as I was working with politicians. You know, I worked with like President Reagan and Bush 1, and I worked with a lot of politicians, and I could see how, you know, as I was doing things were showing up. And then when I started working with businesses, I was having similar experiences, but I was being really quiet about it because I thought that people would think I was a nut.
Well, and it sounds like, whoa.
So I wasn't really telling anyone, and I was using it myself, and it was really starting to snowball and work. And when I started to decide to use it with businesses, I was working with a company that was in really big trouble. They hadn't made any money for quite a long time. And I went in and I would, you know, put in all of my business strategies. Now I do my business strategies a little different than everybody else, but I was doing those, and I was doing what I call my success tools, like, you know, great presentations and leadership and all of those soft skills. And we're about 6 months in and nothing is working. And I'm sweating. I'm like, what is wrong? I know my strategies work.
Right.
And then I realized that the core of the business was really damaged. Now, I see this in every business,
Right.
but in this particular business, it was really damaged. And I started work. I said to the CEO, I said, look, are you open to this? Are you open to working at the quantum level? Are you open to shifting the energy of your business? Because every person emanates energy.
Right.
We know that.
Good and bad.
Right. Science can measure it.
Mm-hmm.
But your business also emanates energy at the business level, but also at the human level. So like, for example, let's say in your business history, you have sexual harassment issues or lawsuits, or the founder of the company was unethical or whatever. That is embedded into the energy of the business.
Right. And it's truly a negative energy.
It's truly a negative energy. And even though your buyers may not know why they don't like or trust you, they'll feel that. We've been trained, as a society, we've been trained to turn off what is naturally occurring in our bodies, and that is to use our bodies as a receptor. So we turn that off, but we still kind of have little inklings like, ooh, I don't trust this, right?
Right.
So the company has an energy, but then every single person who's involved has an energy. So this particular company, the owner of the company didn't believe she deserved wealth for a variety of reasons. Her head of marketing believed that money was bad. So
wait a minute. Her head of marketing believed money was bad?
Yes, she wouldn't like, when she would get a paycheck, she would hand it over to her father because she felt it was bad and she was incapable of handling it. So and
interesting.
She was in her 30s. So this wasn't,
So she's not one of those millennials that we like to poke fun with.
No. And so we started doing work at the quantum level. We started shifting the energy, and literally within 8 days, she made $298 million.
Holy cow.
That was her first revenue in 20 months.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I've got to really think about this and quit hiding what, a lot of the people in the consulting world like to tease me in there. It's Deborah's secret sauce. And, but I'm like, I've got to quit hiding that. So what I learned from that is that every business has an energy, and every business has some scars in their business, and every person brings scars. I mean, whether they're huge scars because they were abused as a child or suffered some sort of trauma, or smaller scars like they were told they weren't good enough. I can tell you, close to 100% of the people I work with have some sort of I'm not enough.
Right. And it's male and female.
Oh, absolutely. So that's how I got started. That was your question, sort of a long answer. I guess.
That's great.
Started with this.
Well, and I love the concept of, the energy that a business has. And you're right, we pick up on it. If we go into a business to, and it doesn't matter if it's a retail, if it's a retail store, restaurant, whatever, so a physical location, we can pick up on, if they've been squabbling in the back, or maybe if the, if the manager is one of those people who is hard on folks, they've got quotas they have to make, all those various things. And we pick up on that, and we're kind of taken aback by it. And then, or if it's the other way around, where we go into a business and people absolutely love what they're doing, or at least tolerate it, right? We pick up on that too, and we want to work with them. Down here in Atlanta, where it's the home of Chick-fil-A, and one of the things that they ingrain in all of them is when they're done, they say, say I go through the drive-through, they thank me, and then they say, it's my pleasure to serve you. And it's funny, I notice if they don't say it, and they do it usually with sincerity, but when they're just saying, it's my pleasure to serve you, you feel that, right? And you don't see them, but you pick up on that. And then the next time you're thinking, well, it wasn't their pleasure to serve me, so I'm going to go somewhere else instead.
Yeah. So there are 3 layers of every business, and that's kind of what you're getting at. The outer layer I call the world stage. That's what the world sees, your buyers see, your suppliers. You never go out onto the world stage without your lipstick on. Right? And then in the middle is home. That's where your employees are. They feel comfortable, bickering if it's not a healthy work environment. There's the bickering, the backstabbing, that all of that is affecting your world stage, even though it's in secret.
Right.
And then there's the core of the business. That's at the quantum level. That's your values, your mission. That's, where people show up, hopefully with joy and a desire to serve. So, so what you're talking about, those people who are like, it was my pleasure to serve you today.
Right.
Feel that. And then there are those people like, yeah, it was my pleasure. Yeah, they're making me say this, right?
Yeah, they make me say it, so I'm going to say it. But yeah.
Right. So I always ask people, what's at your core? Because even though you're putting your lipstick on the world stage, if you're all scarred on the inside, people are going to know it. So what's your core look like? Okay. Is it bright and shiny and radiating out all of the things that you really want in your business? Or does it look like, one of those tennis balls that the dog has chewed up and it's out in snow and rain for a couple of years? What does your core look like? So when I'm working with companies, I go in and I work at the core level first. Now, once we get that all handled, we can do the marketing and the sales and generating leads and all of that. But if you don't get the core bright and shiny first, it's kind of like putting, expensive wall-to-wall carpeting on a cracked foundation.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because it still might work, but it's not truly optimized. Like the example, you put pretty carpet on top of a concrete foundation that's cracked. Well, it's your floor's probably not going to fall through, or not right away, and so you can still walk on it, but you want to make sure that floor lasts for a long time.
Right. And the other thing about it that I have found is when you work on the core, and again, it's the core of the business and the core of the people involved in the business, things are so much easier.
Right.
Things happen quickly rather than, so it's always embarrassing to listen to people and introduce me and, she's producing 3,000% growth in 12 months.
And we all go, wait a minute, that's confusing.
Well, and a lot of people are like, I don't believe that. And, fortunately I have video testimonials that say that. But
and when you're starting very small, it's a big, when you're doing much better, it's a big jump.
It is a big jump. But one of the things that I've found is when you get the core cleaned up, when you work at the quantum level, instead of having growth that's going like this, that's when you get that hockey stick growth, because things become so much easier. And I teach people how to put the energy out there to make it easy. I mean, I had one client who his facility had this beautiful facility that he built, but he built it in the middle of nowhere. And he had a hard time finding salespeople.
Right.
And he kept talking about, I can't find salespeople, I can't find salespeople, I can't find salespeople. So what he's doing is he's saying to the universe, don't send me any salespeople because I can't find them. So I said to him, what if it was easy? What if you could shift your energy so that getting great superstar, because I only believe in hiring superstars.
Right.
What if getting great superstar salespeople was easy? So we worked on shifting that energy. Within a week, he had 3 salespeople interviewing, 2 of whom were superstars that he hired.
Right. So what changes did he make? Because he clearly didn't just pick up his building and move. No. So what did he do to attract those people?
So it was really interesting. He was a great guy, and he had a lot of inner blocks that told him that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't going to succeed, that he wasn't going to make it.
Okay.
So what I teach people is what I call the point of power. And there are 4 components to the point of power. The first is your thoughts. They're weak. Thoughts are weak, but they project out. They go out into the universe and tell the universe, this is what I want. Along with thoughts are emotions. So a great way to think about an emotion is somebody cuts you off and you've got these thoughts going about how mad you are, and you get these emotions.
Mhm.
Your mind gets emotions.
Mhm.
Your mind can't actually feel. So it creates these looping emotions,
Mhm.
right? That's all projected out. It's not very strong. Where the real strength comes in, and this is why people talk about the law of attraction,
Mhm.
which I don't like to talk about because it doesn't work for most people because it's become a fad,
Right.
and the people teaching the fad don't actually understand it.
Mhm.
So here's where the real power is. The real power is in your core beliefs.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't know what their core beliefs are. They've just accepted what they've been trained. So I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be able to do this.
Mhm.
And what goes with those core beliefs, the fourth component are feelings. The
Right.
feelings that run through your body, like, if a bear were to come up on you, that's a feeling in your
Mhm.
body. So fear of not being good enough, fear of not being able to make your parents proud or pay the mortgage or whatever,
Mhm.
that creates a feeling. And that feeling, the beliefs in the feeling, draw in experiences. So thoughts and emotions tell the universe what to give you. Your feelings and your core beliefs draw, like a magnet, draw those experiences in. So he had a relationship with his father that in his head, he's like, I said to him, I think you're blocking money. And it's because of the relationship in part because of the relationship you have with your father. And he said, you're crazy. What are you talking about? I have a great relationship with my father.
Mhm.
And I said, oh, really?
Yeah, tell me more.
Based on the things you've told me, he's given you a lot of messages. He's told you that he doesn't think you're going to be able to make this business succeed. He's told you that you're not good enough, and he may not walk up to you and look you in the eye and go, you're not good enough.
Right.
But those little subtle messages that you take in.
Even if it's something like an eye roll or all of those things.
Yep.
Mhm.
So we started clearing that out.
Mhm.
And because he was working at his core, clearing out that energy, then what happened is it started affecting the home, the central piece of that
Mhm.
3-layer pie.
Mhm.
And it then started affecting what was happening in his world.
Mhm.
So he doubled his revenue. He
Mhm.
brought in those salespeople. Would you and your listeners like to have, we can't do a lot
Right.
in an hour, but
Mhm.
a 2 or 3 minute little experience?
Sure. Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Okay. So you can't hold a negative and a positive emotion or feeling at the same time.
Right. They kind of cancel each other out.
That's right. So
Mhm.
what happens in your day, somebody doesn't buy from you if you're a salesperson, or if you're the head of HR, you've got problems, people bickering or whatever, and you get into that negative and you start feeling bad about yourself, all those things going on. So one of the first things that you should do is eliminate that energy from your body.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to call in the energy of joy. And when I say energy, I really mean that. I want you to feel in your body what joy feels like.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, do it without calling in an experience like, a memory. But if you can't get that energy, call in an experience that you've already had that was really joyful, like,
Okay.
for, looking into my daughter's eyes for the first time,
Mhm.
something like that. Okay, so everybody take a nice deep breath and feel all of the tension just leaving your shoulders and your back. Take another nice deep breath. And again, all of the tension just leaving your entire body. Now call in the energy of joy. Just feel the energy flowing into your body. I like to feel it going into my core. Just pull it in. If you have to pull in a memory, a joyful memory, that's fine. But feel that pulsating, sparkling, white light of joy in your body. Joy is at a higher frequency than all of the negative emotions that you might have felt earlier today. So just pull in that joy. And now feel it expanding. Feel it expanding up your spine, down your spine, throughout all of your extremities, out into your fingers and your toes, at the top of your head, filling your DNA, your cells, your atoms, all of the molecules in your body, all of your organs. Just feel it expanding out. Every particle in your being is joy. It is joy. It's not a feeling anymore. It's joy. It's surrounding your entire body. Now pump it up. Pump it up and feel it so powerfully that you feel the heat of it in your core, and you cannot help but smile. Nothing fake. Just feel it. Feel that. So that's the first step that anyone can take any moment of the day. Start reminding yourself to, when you have an experience that causes you to be angry or fearful or frustrated, stop. We just did that for 2 minutes.
Right.
Call in the experience of joy. Could you feel that?
I could, and it's I actually work with a hypnotherapist also, and we've talked. It's funny because we talk about things like this on the program, even though it's a business program, and people go, "Oh, it's it's kumbaya, it's your feelings." But if we don't have this, then nothing else really matters. And so we have to start inside ourselves. But yeah, so as and I had my eyes closed, and was, doing it as you did it. And I did it. It felt warm. The light was white, which I always find very interesting. And I felt more calm, which that's always something. And that's part of the reason why I do hypnotherapy, is to kind of calm my mind and to focus. And, and it's funny because we're told, if you're in a bad situation, take a deep breath. Well, this is taking it, the next step. And it really did. The focus, I think, was what really, and the calming. I mean, that really did. I felt that. Now, like I said, I'm a little bit maybe more used to doing things like this, but it is something that is so simple for people to do. And, it maybe you can't do it at your desk because people are going to look at you and go, taking a nap, are you? But, so you step into the restroom or you do what, and so what if you're taking a nap at your desk? It's a 2-minute nap. It's not a big deal.
Well, and what if your entire company culture is
right?
this?
Yeah.
And here's why this is important. Here's how this affects your business. So let's say you've got somebody on your team. Maybe this person is a leader on your team, or the head of HR, or a salesperson. And let's say they had, and everyone has had something, some sort of trauma or something in their lives that triggers them even now. And so they react with anger, and they lose the sale, or they react and they're passive aggressive with one of their team members, or they are not confident enough as a leader to make decisions and to actually lead because they don't feel good enough about themselves. So if you embed this in your company culture, instead of them reacting with anger, reacting with self-judgment, self-doubt, reacting with an inability to lead, they instead learn these tools and learn how to shift their energy. So instead of getting angry, they're like, okay, this is how I'm going to respond in this situation. And it's going to lead us to a positive higher level rather than, bickering at someone, backstabbing someone, sabotaging someone. So embedding this in your company, and as I always start with the CEO, embedding this in your own life, it's going to shift your life too. CEOs are under more stress than ever.
Oh, definitely.
They're being hit with, diabetes, heart disease, divorce. I will tell you, the first time I heard a CEO tell me they hadn't been intimate with their partner for over 2 years.
Wow.
I was shocked. I mean, this CEO was hot, and I just knew that, and so was their spouse. And
you're thinking, oh, okay.
yeah, a good old time.
Uh-huh.
And I get, so now I was shocked then. I'm not surprised at all.
Right.
To hear that. So think about that. People have said to me, well, I just want my people to show up and work and I'm going to pay them. Why do I care if they're having a great life?
Right.
Well, you know what? They're bringing their life into your business.
Right.
And if they're coming in angry and stressed and, attacking other people, I mean, rage is huge in companies right now.
Yeah.
And with trucks is huge. So if you've got people walking in the door who are bright and shiny and, excited about being there, they're going to outperform anyone who walks in the door angry.
Right.
Fearful.
Right. And we're not talking about being Pollyanna. Things happen, but it's more about how to deal with them. We, like you said, we hear about rage in the workplace all the time, ranging from, the extremes of, unfortunately, true violence down to, the little sabotage things. Maybe it's just, you mentioned the words earlier, the whole passive aggressive thing, and body language. If you're in a meeting with somebody and you're doing, yeah, it might not even have anything to do with them. You're just cranky. Somebody cut you off in traffic or whatever, but, and it is, but body language plays such a huge role in it. And when you were talking earlier, I was thinking about the fact that, when we're told we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, all of those things, we internalize, we start hunching, we do that, and our voice doesn't project all of those various things. And, and bad things happen, things happen in life, but it is about putting it back where it needs to be and then going on with things. The people who have listened to my program for a long time know that I, was diagnosed several years ago with breast cancer. It's horrible. It's awful. It sucks. But you know what? It is what it is. And I have people who tell me that, doctors, oh my gosh, we like dealing with you because you're always so positive. Now, am I always? No. I mean, there are times where I think, this sucks. This really, really sucks. But I can either just draw down into myself, or I can go, okay, well, this is what's happened, so let's go on. And I have pity parties. I mean, pity parties are healthy for people because we do have to have those negative emotions. But, and whether it's something like that or, something, maybe it is just that somebody snarked at you a little bit at the office or on the phone call or whatever, put it where it needs to be. And in many cases, I think it's, we need to remember it's not about them. I mean, they might have been having a bad day. So, okay, it's their problem. I'm not going to let it affect me.
Well, and that's a really perfect point. So let's say you and I are working for the same company, and I'm holding on to all these issues of I'm not good enough, and oh my gosh, I've got to, meet my sales quota or whatever it is. And let's say, we're in a meeting and you've got a problem with your project, and I'm like, I know the solution to that problem. Now, because I'm immersed in fear and not feeling good enough, I'm going to sit there quietly and not say it. And I may go to the boss and say, I'm really super smart and
I've got this idea.
Right. But if I'm confident, if I've cleared away those blocks that are polluting my core, I'm going to support you as a team member because I know that the success that everyone has lifts us all up. So I'm going to say, hey, what if we do this? And then your project is going to go forward and we're all leveling up, right? You benefit, the customer benefits, the company benefits. Whereas in the other example, I may benefit a little bit, you may be screwed. It creates an unhealthy work environment.
Well, and it is about that corporate culture. Our employees empowered to give their suggestions, or is it the shut up. We don't want to hear from you. I'm the boss and I know better. All of those various things. So, and I know you work with companies, on how to empower your employees and things like that.
Well, and that really starts at the company level too. Like, one of the big problems worldwide, it was the number 2 issue worldwide last year. It has now risen to number 1, and that is the low quality of leaders in companies. Think about it. They've been promoted because they've been there forever, or they close the field. They don't know how to lead.
They're not given the tools to lead.
They're not given the tools to lead, and they're not given the tools to make mistakes. Think about, like, I've been running my own company for 25 years. I've made a lot of mistakes.
Right. We're not perfect. We try to be.
So leaders have to be given the opportunity to make mistakes. They also have to be given the freedom to give credit. Have you ever had, and this is so common, a leader of a team, the team will succeed at something and the leader will be acknowledged and the leader will take all of the credit.
Right. And you're like, well, wait a minute. That was a group effort or my idea or whatever.
Right. And so if you're the one who's done all the work, which happens, and you're not getting any of the credit, the CEO doesn't even know you exist because your boss has taken all the credit. So at the corporate level, at the top level, you have to give your leaders the opportunity to say, you know what, it wasn't me. And acknowledge them too, because that's part of their job as a leader.
Right. Well, and they need to know that it's not threatening them to say this was a team effort, or this was Deborah's idea, all of those various things. Right. And that's hard, because I think part of the problem is we all think, oh my God, and it's, granted, it's a little bit different when we're a company of one, but when we're in a bigger organization, we're always thinking somebody else is going to take my job. So I have to take credit. I can't, and that's really where we have to empower people. And, we're not just talking about companies, volunteer organizations, all of those various things. And we find, that the successful ones are clearly the ones where they share the credit. And let's be honest, they share the blame too. But the leader needs to take the lead in, this was, I'm not going to throw somebody under the bus type of thing. But, it's, or even your family. I mean, if somebody does the dishes, let them know, hey, that was great that you did the dishes. I might have nagged you about it 20 times, but you did the dishes.
Yeah, and it's also important to have the team empowered themselves to be problem solvers. Have you ever? It makes me crazy when I, as a consumer, call, if you can find the phone number, a company, and I get someone who's not been trained to solve my problem, who's been trained to say things like, Miss Bringelson, I understand. Ms. Bringelson, I understand. If you understand, solve my problem, right? So when we empower people, I always talk to my companies about training your people so that everyone thinks like a CEO. Being a CEO of a company or C-level of a company, your perspective is different than someone who's answering the phone. Right. And the person answering the phone is massively valuable because they're the people that you're interacting with, right? So train them to see it from the CEO perspective. The number one thing I have to do is solve this problem, whether I'm talking to a customer or client, or whether I'm the head of HR and I'm talking to competing employees or whatever it is. I have to solve the problem, not just empathize with them. Right. When your team is thinking like the CEO, they're in problem-solving mode. And your customers will love that.
Right. Yeah. I remember I was calling one of the big cable companies, and, and the person I got, and it was so funny because I ended up talking to 3 different customer service people, and they were reading from the script, and their script said, oh, I understand that you're frustrated. I'm a customer too, and I would be.
Yes.
And the
Doesn't
third
that make you
time,
more
I got
crazy?
pretty testy. You know? and,
Yeah.
and it's okay to say, I don't have the answer. I'm going to have to get it for you. And that's okay. You know, I'm cool with somebody telling me that. But when I just get the, I understand, you're like, no, you don't understand. Because if you understood, you'd fix it.
Right. And so all of those things are happening at the energetic core level, and they're affecting, remember I said there are 3 levels, the world stage, the home, and the core. So that person who isn't comfortable for whatever reason saying, I don't know how to fix this because I don't want my boss to know, because I don't want to get fired,
Right.
because I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage and I don't feel good about myself. All of that's at that person's core.
Right.
And it's showing up on the world stage. And, you know, with social media now, people are blasting that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it affects your business. It affects your revenue.
Right. Well, and that is so true, because, you know, we're very quick to post on social media, and let's be honest, Facebook, when something goes wrong. You know, we had this bad experience. Oh my gosh, this horrible thing happened. We don't like to go in and say, oh, this was great. This was fabulous. For what, we're just kind of a nation of complainers is maybe the way to put it. But yeah, it can affect your business. And when I work with my clients with their social media accounts, one of the big things, and whether they're my clients or not, they tell people, well, I don't want to be on social media because somebody might complain. And I tell them, okay, they're probably complaining already, and whether it's valid or not, but don't you want to be there to try to fix it? And so I really work with my clients to say, okay, it's great when we get the 5-star reviews and all those things, but it's the 1-star review that is the most important. And we're really not dealing with that person who posted that 1-star review. We're dealing with everybody else who reads it. You know, how did the company respond? And oh my heavens, the worst thing is they cut and paste, because it's just like reading from the script. You know, you're going through something and it's like, thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, But if somebody had a bad review or a bad comment or whatever, and the company said, oh my gosh. And of course, you know, the legal people say, oh, you can't say you're sorry. Well, no, I'm sorry is not saying we're to blame. Saying sorry empathizes. You know, and people like to hear that. And the second a company, you know, a person is trained on behalf of the company to say, we are really sorry this happened. We're going to take steps to either fix it for you and or make sure it doesn't happen again. That's not difficult.
Yeah. Well, and you know, if companies are training their people to, you know, be empowered to solve problems, maybe those reviews would be great. I'll give you an example from my own life. A few weekends ago, it was late at night, and I was working out in my basement, and I noticed there was a little leak. And, you know, I didn't want to, I'm a little bit handy. I'm not a plumber, but I'm a little bit handy.
I can check this out.
So I'm like, okay, when I did some, like, where's it coming from and whatever. And I went to Home Depot to get the parts that I thought I needed. And I asked this guy for help. And, you know, a lot of times when you go into stores, you know, people will tell you an answer, even though they don't really know the answer.
Right.
So I'm talking to this guy at Home Depot who works there, and I explained to him the problem. I had a couple pictures on my phone, and he said, this is what you need, this is the part you need, this is how you make it work. He actually said, I'm gonna give you all these parts. I want you to put them together while we're here in the store.
Wow.
So you'll know how it feels. You'll know when you get it right. I had to replace the valve that reduces the water pressure. Okay. So it was important that it was done right? And I mean, he really cared, and he was funny, and we joked a little bit. And I brought it home. I put it together. It worked. It doesn't leak. And you know what I did? I called his boss the next day. And I told her how happy I was, how he really cared about the solution. Great. I posted a review on the Home Depot website, and I also filled out that little survey, you know, that I've never ever filled one out before, on the receipt, so that everyone at every level who possibly could know what a great job this guy did would know that. What if every company was training its people to be like this guy at Home Depot.
Right. And it's not difficult because again, it's empowering them, but it is hard to give away that control. And I think that's what so many companies struggle with is, they don't want people to feel like that. You talk about Home Depot. I had a situation at Lowe's, and it's a positive one. It's okay. Our refrigerator was kind of clunking along, not quite dead, but getting close. So, we trudged down to Lowe's. And we're, in the appliance department going to buy a new refrigerator. And the gentleman there says, and, works for Lowe's. He said, have you cleaned it? You can clean. I mean, I was kind of perplexed. And he said, you need to clean the coils and yada, yada. Again, walked us through this whole process as to what to do. And it worked. I mean, and so what he had done was he turned business away. Now, what happened was the refrigerator still eventually died, but that was exactly where we were going to go. Because, now it had lasted like a month. I mean, this was not a huge deal, but we remembered that. And I looked for him because I know that they work on, they get some commissions. Unfortunately, he wasn't working that day, but it made an impact because I went, oh, okay, this was great. This guy actually turned business away to make us happier. And, I don't know if he'd been trained to do that or if that was just his own personal philosophy, but it worked, because we did that. We would not have considered going anywhere else because he had been so helpful.
So you mentioned the word, people don't want to give up control. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. When you train your people, when they are empowered, when the culture of your business is empowered, when that core isn't scarred with all of the fear and anger and stuff that people grew up with, you actually get more control.
Right.
Especially at the C-level, because you're working more hours probably than you want to. When's the last time you took a completely 100% unplugged vacation?
With no tech, right?
Right. When's the last time you really sat down and did something fun with your kids or, went out exploring or whatever, went on a hot, fun date, had a great night's sleep? Right. So when you shift your core and it's radiating out and people are living in the home more joyfully, more productive, when your revenue is going up, and your world stage is beautiful and on fire and people are loving the way you're performing, like the guy I talked about at Home Depot.
Right.
Your stress level goes down. Your health-related stress issues go down. Right? So you get more control.
Right.
And life is more joyful.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that because that was one of the things that I was thinking of as I was looking through your materials. I thought, well, as you're increasing your revenue, aren't you also increasing the workload? And I thought, no, it's all about working smarter and doing it that way. So maybe it's that you're working with the right clients, the right customers, and we all hear this as small business owners and entrepreneurs. We often will work with people that are difficult, not the right people, all of those various things. And it's nothing wrong with them. It's just not a good fit, for whatever reason. But we continue working with them because we're scared to death to turn that money away. Same with, even developing your niche. Who are you going to work with? We just want any money that will come in the door. Well, when we follow your steps, we're able then to go, okay, let's define our little box better, but that little box is going to be more profitable than doing this whole thing with, we're going to try and reach the world.
Yeah. And when you work at the quantum level, so whether you're using it effectively or not to get what you want, you are radiating out to the universe what it's delivering to you. So if you're radiating out fear and negativity and low sales and working with those people who are difficult, then that's what the universe is going to deliver.
Right.
And when you learn how to, I won't say control it, but when you learn how to use it effectively and powerfully work for you, it becomes so much easier. So when you talk about, turning business away, at this point in my career, I won't work with a company that isn't open to working at the quantum level.
Right.
Because you can do it at the quantum level. It's more fun and it's easier. The results come faster.
Right.
Or you can slug it out
Mm-hmm.
and do the business, the one-off business stuff that's going to cost you a lot more money and take a lot more time and get some results, but it's not going to be any fun.
Right. And we've heard the saying, if you love what you do, it's not work. Well, there's still parts of it. I don't like invoicing, all these various things, so it's not love all the time, but it's again, it's how you approach it. So, maybe I don't like invoicing. Well, turn it into a game or, whatever it is.
Hire someone to do it.
Right. Outsource it. Hello. And we've talked about that a lot on the program is finding, we need to be focusing on what we do best. So, I have a producer for this program. I can do what she does. I mean, I had to show her what to do, and I used to do what she does, but that's not a good use of my time, and she's really good at it. So, I turn it over to her. She does it. I know it's done. We don't try and do our own taxes. We don't try and usually be our own attorneys. All these various, I love the people. Well, I can read about it on Google. But, there are times where we definitely need to outsource. You had I always ask my guests to submit a form so that I have the information. And there was a glitch in this. I have no idea why there's a glitch in the system. It happens like 1 in every 20 times. Now, I could spend hours hurting my little brain trying to figure out why. No, I sent an email to a WordPress expert and I said, what the heck? And so when we accept that we need help, and again, that's probably one of the hard things, especially as that small business owner, we think, oh my gosh, I have to do everything, and I have to be an No, none of us are experts in everything. We don't expect that our tax attorney would know how to do, say, divorce law, or be a brain surgeon. So we need to do what we're best at and let everybody else help us with everything else.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I just sent off all my tax stuff, and I said to myself, I am so thankful I don't have to deal with any of this.
Yep. Oh, I know. And especially with all the new tax laws, I'm like, no, and I haven't done, we haven't done our own taxes in years, and I wouldn't even attempt it. I mean, it is too complicated, and we just don't want to do that. But we joke about the fact that, you wouldn't, if you needed, say, brain surgery, you wouldn't look for a video on YouTube and try it doing yourself. I wouldn't even try to change my own oil. Now, might I look for a YouTube video to try something fairly small? Sure, maybe. But, again, we're looking for an expert. I mean, that's the thing. We are looking out for somebody else to help us. And we're not saying I'm stupid, I can't do it, all those various things. We're saying it's not my expertise, my area of expertise, and I'm going to feel better knowing somebody else is going to do it because they're going to do it right.
Right. Absolutely. And so when you're, the CEO or the owner of a company, having your team be superstars. I mean, as I said earlier, I don't believe in hiring players because they drive your superstars away. So when you have those superstars and you've empowered them to bring their expertise joyfully to your business, to your clients, to the other team members, that all trickles up to you. I don't know if things can trickle up, but that's what happens. And you become empowered to have a great life. In addition, so I meet so many people. I don't know if you've seen all of the articles in the last couple of years about CEOs who are, having nervous breakdowns. They're stressed out. They're self-medicating with food, alcohol, cocaine. I mean, it's a real issue. Right. And when we can have our company working efficiently and joyfully, that translates into our own lives too. And I believe that we're here for a great life. We're not here to work 16 hours a day.
And there are people who that is their joy, is to work that 16 hours a day. I mean, that's just what they really enjoy doing. Okay, more power to them. I don't want to be that person. You know? And so, but again, it comes back to, I think, as you were saying, CEOs have nervous breakdowns and things. Part of what we have, that we've got the culture of, they are in the ivory tower. We think of them differently. And, I've talked before about a company I used to work for, a big behemoth company, one of the largest in the world. And I worked for a smaller division of it. We were 17-story building. Sea level was on 17, and everybody else was much further down. And when you got called to the 17th floor, it was like, oh my heavens. And it was never really a bad thing because HR wasn't up there. So you knew you weren't losing your job. But, we put the CEOs on that pedestal, and we expect them to be perfect. I think that's the other thing. We expect that they're not going to have problems, that they're not going to make mistakes. And so then if something happens, we're like, well, wait a minute. No, you're the CEO, or you're the mom, you're the dad, you're the minister, you're the celebrity. I mean, look at how many times we've put a sports figure or a celebrity up on that pedestal, and heavens, they turn out to be human. And so it's part about managing our expectations of them also, but it is about having that joy. I love that is what you really work with people on. And, it's not, I mentioned it before, it's not the kumbaya. Yes, it is, it's not a hardcore marketing or business skill, but if we don't have it, nothing else matters.
Well, and so that's one of the reasons why I have what I call the power of three.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do still have to do marketing and sales and
right.
And all of that. So
you have to create the product. I mean,
so what I do is my power of three does work at the core level to clean that up. So then we go after the rest of the business. We do the marketing. We grow your leads. Most of my clients, they're growing their leads a minimum of 4x.
Right.
Their sales 4x, their revenue 4x. They're doing it. So we do all of that as a part of the power of three. We train the leaders on being good leaders, train, the employees on how to have a great culture that they create, that they live with. And then we, go out to the world. So it's not just, as you said, the kumbaya, clean energy. It's the full package. And the reason I do this, is because how many one-offs have you bought? Oh, we're going to increase your sales. We're not going to build anything else.
No, we're just going to fix this tiny little piece.
We're going to sell you an app, or we're going to sell you, a 2-hour training for your salespeople or whatever. Those don't work.
Right.
It's when you address it holistically as a full package, that's when the company sees those results, like 100%, 100, Discovery, they implemented this, 10% growth in 10 months.
Right.
Other companies, 3,000% growth. That because it's all one package.
Right. And I think that's what people really need to remember is you can have, say, the best website in the world. But if, for example, your customer service is not good, it doesn't matter that you have even the best product in the world. I mean, look at companies where we look at them and say, how did they fail? Or why aren't they doing better? Right. Well, it's because it's like you said, something in that core isn't working right.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Well, good gosh, Deborah, this has been fascinating. We've only got about 5 minutes left. So I really want people to know how they find you and how they connect with you online.
Okay. So the first thing I'd like to do is give everyone a gift.
Yay! We like presents.
Okay. So for anyone who would like to start experimenting with piercing the quantum veil for themselves, getting out there and working at the quantum level, go to 7 blueprint.com.
Perfect.
And you can download, it's a guided process that I created for my VIP clients. It's yours for free. Perfect. And it also actually, there's a 7-step blueprint that all of my clients use to get those huge results. So if you go to 7blueprint.com, Anyone who would like to talk about how to shift their business, you're welcome to reach out to me.
Great.
My number is these are typically for bigger companies, 650-204-9595.
Great.
And then you can also reach me at Deberah at DeberahBringelson.com, and the spelling is a little unique. It's Deberah at Deberah, B as in boy, RINGELSON.com.
Perfect.
And
I love it.
happy to help.
And for those, because you mentioned you typically work with larger companies, you've got a great blog, great information for somebody who might be the smaller business owner, the entrepreneur, things like that. And again, this is something that whether it's, you working in your spare bedroom or you've got 10, 20,000 employees, we have to be doing this. And in many ways, I think it might be more important. Well, I don't want to say it that way. It's as important for the very small business owner, the solopreneur, to have this too, because it's very easy when we're in our little spare bedroom and we're so isolated. It's very easy to get down on ourselves. And so that's where this is so important. Maybe it is that we just spend that 2 minutes, that 5 minutes, whatever, thinking about joy. And then how can we bring that to working with our customers and our clients?
Yeah. And, I have a Facebook page, Deberah Bringelson, Quantum Business and the Power of Three. Go there, sign up for that page. I'm always giving away free tips. I do videos, I do Facebook Lives, free trainings on leadership, sales, marketing, quantum business, the whole 9 yards. I do a lot of free trainings, give away a lot of information.
I love it. And it is about giving back. When we give, we receive. Whether that's biblical or whether that's just your great business philosophy, we do. If we're giving, we will get back. It's funny. I love Bob Berg, and I asked him one time. I said, but if we're always giving, what he said, okay, you're not always giving. And part of it, you have to be receptive to getting. I mean, that's, how many times have we said, no, we don't. But it's also, it's not about giving it all away. And so, it's an interesting concept. But again, it's about bringing that joy into our lives, making sure that we recognize that it's there. And sometimes it is hard. There are days where for anybody we think, ugh, I just can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Whether it's, I can't work on that project, or I can't be a business owner or a CEO or, a parent, a spouse, all those things. But it's working through that. And sometimes, let's be honest, you have to get rid of employees. You have to, maybe it is that you get rid of that partner that isn't working out. You probably can't get rid of your kids too much. But sometimes it is about getting rid of things.
Well, and I always say, before you can plant the garden, you have to clear the weeds.
Right.
And that's part of what we're doing at that core level, is pulling all those weeds.
Well, and it's a benefit to them also, because if you're not happy with them, they're probably not happy either. Whether it is, again, that employee, that volunteer, that whoever.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, Deberah, what final words would you like to leave with our listeners and the people who are watching this?
I think we've all been raised in a culture of we've got to work hard, nose to the grindstone, all of that. And the number one thing that I want to say to people is you deserve a massively successful business and you deserve a great, joyful life. And if you're limiting yourself in any way, financially, joyfully, whatever, you're not having that great life. So really, whether we ever connect together or not, do download that process, that guided process at 7blueprint.com, and start really getting out into the quantum field. That's where you're going to see massive shifts, both in your business and in your life.
I love it. Well, with that, we're going to end. And so I am going to make sure that people know they need to go to the number 7, blueprint.com to get Deborah's information. You can find every way, to connect with her on her various sites. I am Deb Creer. I've been having a delightful time talking with Deberah Bringelson. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer. Join us next time for more real-life stories and techniques to power up your business.
You've been listening to C-Suite Radio. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.